Where to even begin with this accursed swath of wilderness? To start, there isn't even an agreed-upon name for the damned place. The Nightmare Wood, Elysium's ruins, God's Bane, or as we commonly refer to it, the Forsaken Lands. Our eastern border is both protected and encroached upon by these unmanageable stretches of bogs and forests so dense the sun dare not even tread on the ground. The inhospitable terrain is not what earned this wretched place its namesake. Oh no, that would be its denizens. Where most abnormally high mana areas would have stretches that are dangerous to traverse, or require a competent scout to avoid high-tier monstrosities. The entirety of this wilderness is an absolute death trap, without rhyme or goddamn reason to its dangers. The trees will, with no warning, be blood-rending husks that drag themselves over fields of corpses, to feast on any life they sense when not even 20 paces ago they were not more than lovely willows draped across your path. The grass in one meadow may have radiant stems with stunning, healing properties that rivals a second-tier potion. And then in the next meadow, it cuts your scout down to the bone at the lightest touch. Then it begins to sprout from his still pooling blood while he yet lives. Carpets of verdant, luminescent moss can wind through the bogs, a welcome reprieve in the oppressive darkness, guiding you to shelter at the base of a waterfall, only for the bits of moss you tracked on your boots to begin growing, rooting you in place, trying to add you to the ever-expanding bloom. That is just the fucking plants. The less said of the creatures, the unbridled horrors that lurk here, the better. But for the sake of understanding, I will speak of the threshers. Famous beasts for being quite possibly the most lethal threat a man can face. That the system deigns is only at the beginning of the second tier, luring innumerable overtly brave warriors to an early grave. They are as tall as a man standing on its two clawed legs, with dark red and black scales, punctuated by feathers of the deepest onyx. Feathers presumably made of mana, that draws the shadows around itself deeper. A maw of overgrown fangs, layered like that of a shark, protrude from their scaled snouts. None of these physical characteristics are what make them so dangerous, however. The disproportionate lethality is twofold. 1. They are smart, disconcertingly so. Nearly sapient in their mannerisms. They always hunt in organized packs, luring one or two victims at a time. Secondly, and most famous, is the beast's eyes. If you ever fight one of the creatures, do not look into its eyes. I witnessed firsthand how locking gazes with the beast robbed the most powerful of my guards of his wits, his senses, his very will to live, leaving him a trembling wreck that was easily dispatched. If not for the system's protection of our borders, threshers and many worse things could intrude from the twisted hellscape into our lands. Why do people still go into such a pointlessly cruel death trap, is a question I am often asked. The answer is simple: greed. The sheer density of dungeons, high-tier beasts, and plants, and of course the ruins of the Elysium capital make it so that if one can venture into the Forsaken Lands, and survive, your odds of coming out richer in levels or ancient treasures are almost assured. I myself broke through into my second tier of explorer by simply surviving the journey. We made it 4 leagues, and before I was the only survivor. I will never go back. I digress. Let me end this entry with a well-intentioned plea. No matter your power, do not underestimate this place. The first tiers, among you who have just begun on your path, those who have successfully driven into the second tier, lauded as the elites of your city, even those very few who have pushed into the third tier holding enough personal power to besiege a fortress single-handedly, the survival rate is the same. Less than 1 in 10 of you who ventures anywhere past but the barest fringes of Forsaken Lands will return. This number doesn't change even for the scant few individuals holding personal power akin to that of a small army who have miraculously broken beyond the third tier. Unimaginable horrors lurk within. Gods died here, and what remains does not want to be seen. Vrax, Hope's End Village. Vrax intently peered from a shadowed perch within the alley, his cloak drawn tight against his body, blending in with the dirty balcony he lay upon. Bits of broken stone and brickwork were arranged haphazardly in front of him to break up his silhouette even further. The sun was just starting to be the faintest of a crimson glow on the horizon, casting deep and disorienting shadows across the cobbled courtyard below him. The telltale jingle of chainmail and heavy clink of armored boots from farther up the town square announced the arrival of his target. Everything had to be perfect. Vrax had prepared for this ambush for a month now. His future was riding on it. Gregory, the groggily approaching town guard, had just begun his watch. Gregory had been deep into his cups the night before. Vrax had made sure of it, slipping the portly innkeeper an entire imperial silver to make sure Gregory went far beyond his normal 3 tankards. The innkeep had raised an eyebrow at that but palmed the coin deftly all the same, bringing tankard after tankard to the guard. From the gentleman down at the end, Raphael, the innkeep had told Gregory, pointing to an almost insensate drunk halfway off his barstool. Gregory had seemed dubious at first, but after the 5th tankard, his questions eased into the boisterous clamor of a drunk among friends. This is the best shot I am going to get, and I sure as hell am only going to get one. He was talking to his damn stool by the end of the night. Even with his monstrous resistances, he should be suffering enough to be off his game. One big mistake, one oversight is all I need from him. Vrax surveyed the ambush site one last time. The town square was a circular cobblestone yard, 30 strides wide, ringed by well-worn brick and wooden buildings. A statue of the damned Duke sat in the middle of the yard, gently burbling as it depicted the noble pouring wine into a basin, making for a beautiful if tasteless fountain. Every half-dozen strides was a market stall strewn with half-faded silks, and long ago painted signs. At this hour the courtyard was still empty of the merchants. 8 traps, it should be enough. Calm breaths, man. State of mind is half the battle. If you panic and step into one of your own traps, you won't survive the damn things. Vrax pulled his cowl ever so slowly forward, making sure to obscure his distinctly piercing green eyes. Gregory was approaching the cracked section of cobblestone. It was a 3-stride path shattered down to the hard-packed loam, beneath by the town's cleric, when some forsaken delvers had decided strong-arming one of the church's young charges for a better price was a remotely wise idea Vrax had transported. A surprise from the Forsaken Lands itself to that patch of town history. Vrax focused deeply on the air around himself, feeling the faint mana at his fingertips, like a gentle stream of water. With a force of will, he clasped his left fist clumsily, rending a thin stream of unfocused mana from the air and directing it down his arm and up into his eyes. He felt the familiar tug on his senses, the slightest pull toward seeing beyond the veil of mere mortal eyes as Identify. Activated. Gregory Hillborn Tier 1. LVL 89. Steel Guard. Uncommon. Vrax cringed slightly at the burning sensation streaming through his veins and into his eyes. Still, unclassed himself. It was impressive he had managed to craft a usable talent at all. But it still needed far more work. He was just relieved that Gregory hadn't leveled up any further. This ambush was already a Herculean task, against a foe so far beyond him. Vrax slinked further towards the edge of his overhang as Gregory neared. Fair fights are for suckers, fight to win, goddammit. Vrax whispered his favorite quote from his father to himself as he shifted onto his fingertips in anticipation. He palmed the first of his smoke bombs, and threw it in a very sharp arc over the center of the courtyard, just as Gregory's foot fell on the broken stone. Wait, what the fuck? Gregory blurted out as the barbed tendril of a lurker mushroom slapped itself across his shin. Oh fucking hells, was all he managed before the other 5 mushrooms hidden among the cobble launched their tendrils around his shin and arm, roughly hauling him half a step forward and halfway to his knees. Vrax was already in motion, exploding from the balcony in an agile dive, rolling to his feet 5 strides behind Gregory. Gregory, as hungover as he was, still responded with astonishing violence. He braced his bound leg against the ground, and leapt backward with such force he sent a chunk of cobblestone flying while at the same time unsheathing a well-worn short sword, and shearing through the still intact tendrils faster than Vrax could track. The second of delay Gregory had freeing himself was what Vrax had counted on. Vrax practically slid from a dead sprint, desperately gliding under a savage pommel strike from the guard as he whirled towards the actual threat. Gregory was off balance, and it allowed Vrax in under the blade. Vrax struck, whipping one hand up with a bag of yellow powder misting into the guard's face, the other hand driving a piercing dagger towards the guard's unarmored inner thigh. Gregory reflexively slammed the dagger from Vrax's grip with a savage knee. His hand crunched sickeningly as fingers broke, and the dagger shot from his grip. Vrax ignored the deep pain in his hand to twirl with his momentum out from under the descending yellow powder, ending up in a half crouch, astride from Gregory.